desire to enter into the covenant of marriage. Today, Sarah and Adam will be joined in marriage, and so shall their families and friends also be linked. Will all of you, witnessing their vows as family and friends, do everything in your power to uphold Adam and Sarah in their marriage? If so, say, I will.
Okay.
I'm reading from 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak in the tongues of human beings and of angels but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put childish ways behind me. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Paul wrote one of the most amazing love letters of all time. But it wasn't written specifically for weddings. It was written to a bunch of church people who were arguing and disagreeing with one another. Do you know anyone who ever argues or disagrees? We would think human beings created in God's image would know better how to live respectfully, forgivingly, and joyfully. And yet we know by the news of the world that it just isn't so. Generation after generation of humans fail to live peaceably and lovingly with one another. And we don't have to look at others in order to discover how hard it is to get along. Oftentimes within our own friendships and in our own families, we struggle to get along. Paul spoke of the more excellent way of love. The strange thing is, when it comes to human love, we also love things like junk food, video games, and money. We love sports, shopping, and vacations. So even though love is such a big part of our lives, it doesn't originate with us. At its deepest, richest level, true love is a gift of God. God's love feeds and sustains our love. God's love blesses and guides our love in relationship to our families and all others, friends, neighbors, even strangers and enemies. The important thing to note is that Paul was describing the nature of God's love in 1 Corinthians. God's love is patient, not arrogant or rude. God's love doesn't insist on its own way. God's love isn't irritable or resentful. And Paul was challenging and instructing the church people who weren't getting along to learn to love like God, to keep growing and maturing in the ways of God's love. And to the